I'm John Moss, and I became an Eagle Scout in 1968, and also got in country at the same time. I'm retired now and have been for about 14 years. Before that, I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for Bristol Myers Squibb and Novartis.
And I'm Larry Moss. I got Eagle in 1969, also a God and Country recipient. I'm retired. Before I retired, I worked for Augusta Mortgage Company, led that company for 39 years. I was president of the company and one of the initial founders. So,
I'm Morris Moss, and I attained Eagle and God and Country in 1981, and I am a partner in Blanchard and Calhoun Insurance and have been there for 33 years.
I'm Preston Moss, and I got my Eagle, I think, in 1975, along with my God and Country. I've been with Blanchard and Calhoun Insurance for 40 years and serve as its president.
well, we were in Troop 88. It was led by a phenomenal individual named Bud Carter. And Bud was a big part of why so many scouts within his troop were able to become Eagle Scouts.
Yeah, he was, and he was like a second dad to many of us. That kind of relationship had respect not only for the Boy Scouts in his troop, but all the Scouts had respect for him, and just a lot of fun to be around. And Troop 88 was the king troop. You know, we were the baddest of the bad.
And the camping was awesome.
Awesome.
We went camping just about every weekend, it
Yeah.
seemed like. And back then we didn't have the technology of down sleeping bags and Gore-Tex, and
No.
we slept on a bedroll and made our own tents out of canvas. And
2 army blankets sewed together.
Bud actually bought a big tract of land off of Bel Air Road for the troop to use for camping. So and he made us walk there. One of our weekend camping trips, we had to pack it in and walk all the way there. It was actually a little over 5 miles there. He didn't make us walk back, but we did walk there, and we just learned a lot from Bud. And
Bud was awarded the Silver Beaver Award, and I think we were as proud of him as he was of the troop.
He was well respected because you had to respect him. I mean, he taught us a lot.
Sure did.
A lot.
Yeah, I mean, the Scout Law actually has been our compass in life, and we learn to follow each one of those disciplines within the Scout Law, and it's equipped us to always be prepared for life and to look ahead rather than behind. Always keeping our eyes on the future and on success and achieving success.
I think the Scout Oath was really kind of what 53 years ago, I probably said it every week, for however many years, but the Scout Oath was really a commitment to do your best to God and your country and to help other people at all times. I mean, those kind of moral guides that scouting gave became the marrow, became the DNA of how we...
I always try to pause each week and do something to help somebody, That was the biggest thing. Always be available. Like the other day, I went to Tractor Supply, and this elderly lady had bought a huge bag of dog food. She said, I can't afford it anywhere else. And she was sitting there trying to load it up by herself in the car, and I pulled over, got out of the truck, and loaded it up for her. She was just you know, just some appreciation that somebody would pause and be available for.
Yeah, I think what most I got out of it, the moral integrity was probably at the top, and then to be prepared. I learned an enormous amount about being prepared and for everything. I mean, I probably over-prepared in every aspect of my life.
Mine was January 25th,
63?
63, I believe it was. I was camping out at Linwood Hang with Bud Carter. I was 12 years old. Back then, the tents were just a tarp over the pole, no ground floor or anything in there. Coldest night I've ever spent in my entire life.
On the fairgrounds.
On the bare ground with an army blanket, wrapped around me. Next morning, I wake up and Bud said, "Congratulations, you got a new brother."
That would be
That
neat.
was Mark.
Yeah, I've got a lot of memories like that too, but also I think at the Jamboree, one year Bud got a big old pig, a whole pig, and we barbecued that at the Jamboree, and we ate like we've never eaten before, but we also learned how to do that, and there was so many different disciplines in life that we learned through that trip.
Yeah, Camp Linwood Hang was something I always look forward to, and we got so much out of that. Really got a lot of merit badges out of that. So it was a lot of fun, and look forward to it every year.
Go ahead.
Same here.
Yeah, I was gonna say the camaraderie that you get from the scouting program is a huge plus. And not only at that time in your life when you're dealing with so many struggles in life, growing up, teenage struggles, but also preparing you for life later on and how to communicate and live with other people of different disciplines and different races and so forth. So that was a big plus for me. They name
Everything.
It opened a lot of doors.
They're
Really did.
absolutely nameless. I mean, well, the first thing is anybody that has achieved an Eagle Scout award, the very first thing they should do when they go out and look for a job is have that as the top line on their resume.
Yeah.
Because it opens the eyes of people that are interviewing you for a job. They think, my goodness, if you can achieve that level of scouting, you can achieve anything for this company. And so that's a great plus.
Yeah, I spent 32 years in corporate America and lived in 5 different places around the country, working in the home offices of these big pharmaceutical companies, and the respect. I mean, I didn't expect this, but the respect that executives give when they find out you're an Eagle Scout and the doors that opens is just amazing, because they know that you got a high character, you got the discipline to do things and to follow through on things. It really helps a lot.
Yeah, I've got those, I had those mother frame the God and Country Award medal and the Eagle right beside each other in a little shadow box frame like this. I had it in my office on the wall. I cannot tell you how many customers that came in and they would see that. And sometimes they'd say, "Were you in the Army?" And I'd say, "No." And they'd get up and go look at, "You were an Eagle Scout?" And I'd say, "Yeah." And it would just change the whole way that they looked at me. And it gave confidence to them that they were dealing with a person that they could trust and that would follow through on whatever it was that they needed done.
For me, it was the culture development of my character and personality. I mean, that was the biggest thing I think I got out of it personally.
Give him a big hug.
Thank you for your commitment. And,
Say thank you.
he made himself available for us all the time. and was committed to each kid in that program to make sure they succeeded. And wow.
We were so fortunate,
We
so
really
fortunate.
were.
I'm not sure I could say anything to him. I'd probably be crying because he really meant that much, much to
Yes,
all of us, not
yes.
just to me, but to
Many
the
people.
entire troop. He meant that much to us.
I remember on the first camping trip I went on, I was 11 years old, and it was out at Linwood Hang, and I didn't know what to expect, and it was getting late, and it was getting dark, and it was getting cold, and I'm thinking, how do I do this? And Bud Carter, instead of having individual tents, he took all the tarps and made this one huge tent, and everybody slept under the same tent. And that was so comforting, for a kid that didn't know, what to expect and how cold the night was gonna be, or something coming out of the woods that's gonna eat you alive, or, things like that. But, he just had a intuitive way to know those kind of things and do the right thing.
Yeah,